let's get started. These images are screenshots from Cities Skylines with an all gray theme that I applied to them. This is shot straight out of the game. I made up a theme that has all gray textures so that you could just see the terrain by itself without being camouflaged by the textures of the terrain. As you can see, they're very highly detailed. They're really amazing textures. And this is the processing the DEMs. I'll show you all of this. This is downloading the DEMs, processing them, turning them into a matrix, and bringing them into Photoshop, making a few adjustments, and then just bringing this in as a Heightmap into the game. And I've not done anything with these, haven't touched them. No sculpting, no nothing. Just made a few adjustments in Photoshop before I brought it in. So I think you can see that these are really quite good. Certainly better than anything I've produced so far. Fasten your seatbelt. This is going to be somewhat intense for the casual player. But if you really want great detailed terrain, it's well worth the effort, I think, as you can see. None of this is hard. It's just repetitive work. All right, first you want to open Google Earth to your area of interest. In this case, I'm looking at this is in Switzerland, Lake Thun, or the Thuner Sea. My area of interest is the city of Thun and the city of Space. You want to make sure that you have terrain turned on so that you can see what you're looking at here. Basically, obviously, very simple. You just want to take a look at the terrain so you can get an idea of what you want to include, particular landmarks and what have you that you want in your map. I particularly wanted this Mount Neeson right here because as you look at videos and pictures from this area, this mountain is always present in all those videos. So I wanted to be sure and include that. What we need to do is just define the area here in Google Earth. This is purely for visual reference, so we know the area that we're dealing with. And we can take the measuring tool. I'm not going to waste a lot of time. I think everybody knows how to use the measure tool in Google Earth. You just measure out your 17.28 kilometers, create a square area. It's a good idea to put the markers to define the parameter. What you want to do is, now in this case, with this mountain, I know I wanted to keep it in my frame, so I measured 17.28 kilometers from just behind the mountain straight up to get the full breadth north and south of my map. And then you do the same thing east and west so that you define your 17.28 kilometer square area. Another way to do that would be if you weren't concerned about what you had along the perimeter, is simply establish where you want the center of the map to be and then measure 8.64 kilometers out in all directions to establish your outer perimeter. Then basically what you want to do is once you've established that outer perimeter is find, I know this sounds a little clunky, but find some detail on the map that you can visually mark, and I'd write this down, it might be a crook in the road or it might be a little town or what have you, but you can easily find a marker as to where the edge of your map should be. And I'd write those down so that you can come back and reference them. Okay, now what we're going to do is Google. What I Googled was just Swiss Topo high-res DEMs. Right here, free geodata, Swiss Topo online shop. Select that. Once you get to here, scroll down the page to download geodata. Then you want height models. Then I've been using this Swiss Alti 3D. Scroll down the page till you see this map. We're going to select by polygon. We're going to make sure that we have 2 meters. These DEMs are 2 meter resolution. Very high resolution on DEMs. Then we're going to zoom in to our area of interest. We're going to select new polygon. We're going to draw a polygon around the area that we want. Double click when you're finished. Now I've just found by experience using this that you can only do a 4x5 or at most a 5x5 matrix of these little squares on the map. You do any more than that and the game or the website will tell you that it's too much data. So basically you define your area. Now each time I make a selection, when I'm done, I'll take the snippet tool and make a snippet of this so I have a record of what I've selected, and I save that because you're going to want to come back and be able to know what you've selected and what you haven't, because you're doing this over the entire 17.28 square to get all of this data downloaded into your computer. So again, make sure that you've selected a 2 meter. The other choice is a half meter. You don't want that. You'd have so much data, it'd be an absolute pain. Then you click search. Then it brings up this. This export all links, I tried it and it didn't seem to me like it did anything. So you just want to go down the list, and they download very quickly. It's a very fast process. You just go down the list and just over and over and over again select those. Looks like there's about 20 files right there. Then when you're done with that, I didn't find any good way to clear these out, because then you're going to need to go back and reselect an area. I usually just got out of the page and came back to it again to clear that data out. So now that data is gone. That's the only way I can. Then you just repeat the process and you continue doing that until you have collected the data for your entire area. You're going to be downloading, I think it was over 200 files to incorporate this entire area, because again, keep in mind, it's a 2 meter resolution in a 17.28 kilometer area. So it's a lot of individual photographs. When you've downloaded all that data, this is basically what you end up with. Now this isn't completely filled in as of yet when I took the screenshot, but these are all of the individual DEM files, which DEM stands for Digital Elevation Model. They're called geotiffs. They actually they're much more than just a regular TIFF file. They have the location data and other data that's, in other words, when you bring these into the next program that we're going to be working with, they automatically locate themselves in the proper position on the map. So this is what we end up with. Next video I will bring you into the program ArcGIS Pro and show you how we process these images in that GIS program and turn them into one matrix that we can then export out to Photoshop and prepare it for use in our Cities Skylines map. Okay, just wanted to show you here real quick. When I downloaded those, I kept all of those groupings that I downloaded from the Swiss Topo website. I would group those in collections, in folders, so I could keep all those downloads straight, so I knew and there's a grouping of them, just to give you an idea of how many you're downloading at any one time. So that'll just kind of give you an idea of the number of files you're downloading. Here's a couple of duplicates that I managed to download. When you see this one next to them, it's a duplicate. You can just delete those and you're good to go. That is probably enough for this video. I'm going to be uploading another video to complete this process very quickly. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to bring this information in and process that information in a GIS program so that you can combine all of those DEMs, all those images into one matrix, one image that you can, one raster that you can then export out into Photoshop to process so that you can use it in the map. So next time I will show you how to use this. Now, I'm using ArcGIS Pro, which is there's also free versions of this that you can download from the internet called QGIS. Basically the same thing. I've watched videos on it. It operates in a very similar manner. So next time we'll process our DEMs into one complete image. Bye for now.